Um, very much, I'm very excited about this, but anyway, uh, this particular function that we do with the League of Women Voters of Amherst is we decided to find a name for introducing different things in our community that we would like to point a finger and have people aware of it. And we couldn't think of anybody who was a league person, who was very active in this community, et cetera, and who loved our children, but Judy Harris Brooks, everybody knows Brooks, that part, um, who passed away a few years ago. But she was one of my first people to drag me and have me go to 5,000 things. And I was always a league person because I taught government in New York, which was a requirement. And so those voters and I worked a lot together because I would have them come in each semester and talk about voting and stuff to people who were new voters. So she also was very involved as well as with the league, but she also was taught in Pelham Elementary School and in Springfield for a while and in Maryland at one point. She was a 46-year resident in this town, and she also served on the select board and state and national conventions of a particular party. Judy was very, very involved, she and Barry, and and we still have what they helped to start with a better chance, and we still have that kind of thing. And so we asked her family, Barry before he passed, and his daughter and son, and just, would you mind if we named this after her? And so we like to introduce her because she was not just an activist, she was very, very involved. And I think she would be proud of being part of this also. My name is Andrea Battle, and I'm a member of the steering committee of the league, also the Racial Justice Committee that does this. And I'm going to turn this over to the people that we are trying to have tell us about the wonderful program that they have and what it's about. So I don't know, Becky, are you going first, or Ray? I don't, you tell me.
Let me say
Oh,
a
I'm
little.
sorry, Martha wants to go.
Yes, okay.
Oops, sorry,
I
skipped you.
for the Racial Justice Committee, and so tonight's program is youth-driven community programming. I mean, we think of our recreation department, maybe we think of the swimming or Cherry Hill or organized sports, but among the many things that they do are several very challenging and interesting programs for our youth. And so here to tell us about it, first of all, is Ray Harp, who's the Recreation Department Director. And Ray graduated from Amherst College, so he's been acquainted with the town of Amherst for a long time, and he taught high school for many years, and then for the past 4 years, he's been the director of our rec department. And Becky Demling, also then, as she is the outreach coordinator, right, for the recreation department. And so she's lived in Amherst for almost a couple of decades, I guess, and been with the recreation department for 2.5 years. And so they are going to tell us about several of their programs for youth that we may not have heard about as much as we hear about some of the organized sports and things. So whoever is going to start, welcome to go ahead.
Thank you, Martha, and thank you for the opportunity to share our story. You'll see tonight that we are very proud. We do have a lot of our energy tied into these programs. Our staff, Becky's been at the front of bringing some of these programs and executing these programs. And you're going to see how much care goes into them. Getting the opportunity to tell this story is an important part of it. I shared with the current, my thoughts about the program. I just want to introduce by saying that these community programs, these programs you're going to see here today, by introducing them, we've aimed to let kids grow inside a world we want them to own. Mm-hmm. In familiar spaces, we invite them to think, we invite them to play, we invite them to challenge themselves, and we invite them to get to know the so-called people in their neighborhood. we want to help them at this stage to recognize that they have an ability to steer their own way through their own transitions in life. I I want to be very conscientious about time tonight, but I just really think that for kids who either identify themselves or are identified by others as being minorities or marginalized inside of our institutions, I think it's really important for them to have space where they own and claim inside those institutions. And I think, seeing the amount of kids as it's grown, I think seeing that has been inside of Morning Movement, inside of Rise, inside of these programs, we've seen kids uh, own pieces of a really large institution, which helps them fight the battles that they're going to have to fight over the course of their lives. And so it really is an honor to present these to you. I hope that you all have as much fun and interest when we're done with it as we're there. So I'm going to pass it over to Becky, and she's going to start our slideshow.
Thank you. So the origins of all of this programming come from the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, when the town council, town manager, with public input, designated a portion of the town's total funding to the recreation department specifically for outreach. So in summer 2023, Director Harp and I began working on a plan to utilize these funds, beginning with a community survey and meeting with key community stakeholders, including the ARPS Family Center, the Special Ed Parents Advisory Council, and Survival Center. So from these discussions, we pursued the following initiatives, including adaptive swim lessons, which meant, funding curriculum and staff training development, accessible equipment, including ADA stairs at our outdoor pools, chair lifts, and specialized flotation devices. We offered a summer of free youth swim lessons to the community. We pursued Culture City sensory inclusion training and purchase sensory materials so that our camps and after schools and aquatics programming could meet the needs of a broader community, particularly a neurodiverse community. We established an equipment lending library for multiple sports offered through rec, whether that's goggles for swimming or lacrosse sticks or footballs, basketballs, so that kids could come to the program without having to invest in equipment in order to start. We purchased games and activities for community events. And what we're really going to focus on tonight are the next 3 programs. One was becoming a major funder for Morning Movement and Mentoring Program, establishing the Rise Youth Leadership Program, and our Biz Camp Youth Entrepreneurship Program. So for Morning Movement, which some of you already know, the mission of Morning Movement is to support ARPS youth in grades 7 through 10 by pairing physical activity with community building, mentorship to cultivate the focus, self-regulation, and holistic well-being essential for academic success. A lot of these students are really craving social connection, particularly after losing so much time to COVID isolation. So Morning Movement has really grown into this establishment of family and connection in the morning before school. And that's one of the things we really love about the program. So the strength of Morning Movement is absolutely the partners that help make it happen. This program actually started as a small program through the ARPS Family Center. When in 2023, we realized we had this money and we could support this, we became a partner with the ARPS Family Center and Dr. Mata Guevara to provide additional transportation and additional staffing so we could take this kids meeting at the gym before school and actually build it into a bigger program. So we are super fortunate that they've been partners with us since 2023 on this program, and it has really grown. We're extremely fortunate to have the support of Amherst Regional Public Schools and Dr. Z, the middle school, the high school, the transportation staff all contribute to making this program possible. We also have invested heavily in reaching out to different groups in the area to build expertise and capacity within the program. So Amherst Police Department has been an incredible supporter of the program. We have 8 different officers that come to the program, 2 or 3 a day, who work out, play soccer, do arts and crafts, play volleyball with the students in the room. We're fortunate to have a crest responder come to the program and support, and Eric's always there playing volleyball, and it's lovely. We also have other law enforcement partners, including Rafael Santos from the Hampshire County Sheriff's Office. Rafael is an incredible mentor and leader. So we're fortunate to have him on our team. And then the UMass Police Department also sends an officer to the program when they can to participate. And Hampshire County Superior Court, John Thorpe, who is an absolutely amazing human being, supports our program as well. And then we have our college partners who add so much to this program. We have Amherst College, their athletics program and Center for Community Engagement, and their student group, 180 Degrees Consulting, are actually, they send mentors every day. They give us access. They hosted our first field trip, allowing the kids to eat in the dining common and go to the Amherst College football game. They have around 10 mentors that come to the program weekly, which for college students to get up and come to the program to engage with middle school and high school students is, a pretty amazing commitment for these students. We're also fortunate to have the support of UMass Amherst and the Fam Lab and UMass Athletics that also support field trips and provide mentors for the program. The Fam Lab sends us 8 to 10 students a week who come and are part of the mentoring experience. So this is what the gym looks like in the morning, bright and early. Morning movement and mentoring meets 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, in the gyms at the Amherst Regional High School. We use all 3 spaces, the main gym, the middle gym, and the weight room, as part of the program. Our students, our van pickups start at 6:15 a.m. So the transportation staff for our school are out there even earlier to make this program possible and help us get students there. So students come in around even before 7, but arriving by 7. At 7:15, we do our warm up and morning message. This is a picture of one of our warm ups with the UMass Amherst women's basketball team came and played with the kids one day. They have choice time from 7:25 to 8:20. And then we do our cool down at 8:20, and then at 8:35, our armed students walk over to school. So this is what choice time looks like. Kids are everywhere, and it's awesome. It's a little loud. We have music going in every room. We have kids doing arts and crafts. We have some students learning to wrestle with Officer Bennington. We have kids working out. We have soccer happening. We have volleyball or badminton happening, and we have lots of basketball. We've had some football creeping in and some baseball, but there's a lot of different activities happening in the spaces at the same time. We also have homework help happening. We have students who come in who are completing homework assignments or asking for help on homework assignments, or just bouncing ideas for their homework off of the adults in the room. And I think that's one of the great things, is that we've kind of normalized sitting with an adult for homework. within the program, which I think is just a lovely component of the program. And we're extremely fortunate and grateful for our UMass students and our Amherst College students that will sit down and explain the new math and other things in ways that some of us have forgotten how to do. This is a picture of our cool down. This is how we end our day every day. We all come together. We break with, family on 3. Because one thing that we're trying to do beyond everything is to build that social connection that helps sustain you through the day. We operate on an integrated model. We don't want skill development in silos. We want it working all together. We want them playing and laughing and connecting with adults and near peers and their peers in different ways that help them be more successful at school or just more connected at school. Ray, are you?
Yes, take myself off mute. In terms of the growth story here, Morning Movement is the embodiment of youth drive community programming. This program has humble beginnings that have started informally with ARP's paraeducator and community leader Seha Crouch. It's grown each year, becoming a formal program. First becoming a formal program, then becoming a full collaboration, and now it's part of the Town of Amherst operating budget. We've been fortunate enough to have it be embraced inside of the Amherst operating budget here for this upcoming year and hopefully for years to come.
So a really awesome part of Morning Movement is that there's so many ways that students choose to participate. We have a group of students who've decided that they're coming because they want to play basketball before school or they want to see their friends. So they sign themselves up to come. We have parents who reach out to us and say, my kid could really use a boost. Can they come? And then our staff can refer students to the program as well. So that partnership with the school really helps us get students who can benefit from this program into the program. So in addition to all the different ways that students can get into the program, these are the students that have chosen to participate. So we have 27% of Morning Movement participants are in 7th grade, 40.4% are in 8th grade, and 24.7% are in 9th grade. The other graph shows just how many parents or guardians or grandparents are dropping off kids each day. We have 3 school vans that we use to transport students that have demonstrated need to get to the program. This year we've had 35 students requested transportation. We have room for 22. We have 22 seats on the van for students. So we do have a bit of a wait list, but we have students who come on the PVTA or walk over. So people are finding the way to the program, which is amazing. A quick note, I'm going to show some demographics, but I want to explain that typically we don't keep demographics on any of our programs other than your grade and for camps and after school, how you're getting home. We don't keep information. Our department is designed to serve all residents of Amherst, so we don't typically ask these questions. The practice of keeping and asking for demographic data for this program is a result of practice of the ARPS Family Center that uses demographic data for grants and other funding sources. So we have continued that, hoping that we would be able to find grant funding, not knowing we were going to get incorporated into the town budget. So this is all self-reported data. So for gender identity, 30.3% are female and 69.7 report being male. This is actually a huge growth area for us because the first year we had one female student coming. So we feel great that we've really evolved on that. Students who are eligible for the USDA lunch program, we have 56.5% eligible for free lunch. We have 4.3% eligible for reduced lunch, and the rest receive no subsidy. I should note, just in case you didn't know, that ARPS is a universal free breakfast and lunch school. So all of our students have access to breakfast and lunch at school. So this data is harder to quantify because we are fortunate to live in a community and a state that values kids having access to food during the school day. So right now our students receiving IEP services or 504 accommodations at school are 47.2%. I will make a note that in the report you all did, we had different statistics because we offer rolling admissions. So kids can sign up whatever point in the year. We had a couple kids sign up earlier this week, so that our statistics are always changing based on who's signing up to come. So for our race and ethnicity, as you can see, we have a very diverse group of students in the program, with a pretty wide cross-section of ethnicities participating in the program. And I think this chart kind of really, this next chart really shows how diverse a group we are. And I love that about just seeing so many different kids connected together. And this is what parents have to say about the program. And to me, this is the happy report.
I also think for kids,
I'm gonna just, there we go.
Wayne, if there's anything I can do to support morning movement and have it grow, like I would really love to have it grow into high school, tell me and I will be there. So I'm a huge fan. And I guess I wanted to connect it actually to two other things I see on the agenda, which are IEPs and bullying. So in terms of bullying, so Ellis joined in 8th grade last year, 7th grade, it was a mess. I mean, the school was a mess, you all know that. But there was a lot of bullying, and it was just a really mean environment with lots of unhealthy dynamics. And with morning movement, honestly, I feel like that's just disappeared. I feel like Ellis has a solid group of friends. Every time I go to pick him up, they're kids and adults who are like high-fiving him in the hallway. It's a totally different, transformed social experience. I also think for kids with IEPs and like ADHD in particular, kids need to move, and there is not enough movement in the daytime. And so when you have morning movement as an option for kids with a lot of energy, it makes a big difference. So just in terms of Ellis, like we used to get calls with some regularity about basically just having an inconvenient, Ellis having an inconvenient amount of energy for a public school. And we haven't gotten any.
So that was one perspective. And then I was trying to get different perspectives.
It was phenomenal. And I also love the fact that Monday through Thursday, my kids are gone before I'm even up in the morning. So that's also good. But honestly, what I love about it is that, you know, with everything that we see going on in the media about, you know, the police officers and, you know, with all that stuff going on, and to know that in our community, we have first responders that are supporting our kids. And this allows our kids to see that there are phenomenal police officers out there. And, you know, like, I love it. I love the fact that they get to see it. I love the fact that UMass students, I love the fact that it's a great community, and I love it. I love it. I love it, and I hope that this program.
There's only two short more ones.
Say excellent words about this program and favor to continue because this is a true example where the kids can feel that the community cares about them and community put each and every effort to grow them as a good personality person, people, and the kids also see that community would like what the standards of a good community are. So that's works both ways. So the community know the team known the kids, they start knowing the kids, so they know what to expect from them, and they also see them kids good examples. So this is acceptable in our community. Our community, this is the standards. That's what.
And the last one for this.
Yes. Seeing my son, motivate by himself to wake up so early and without me having to push him. And I really felt, my son gets services in the school as well. And I think what one of the parents said that is really important is that what happens early in the morning with the exercise, the mentorship, and the community building has an effect that trickles through the rest of the day. It helps the teachers, the classroom teachers, the counselors, everybody in the building, benefits from the guidance that starts, at the beginning of the morning. Just like, I talk about healthy habits of getting up early.
I hope you guys are doing great so far. That sort of brings us to the conclusion of the morning movement portion. Um, it's very much carries over into the things that we do. It is the center of our support for the schools, support with the schools. It's part of our conversation with the schools in general. We are going to transition now into looking at RISE. If you have any questions about morning movement, sort of pin them for us, and we can certainly go over them at the end. One thing that is important for us is to be able to distinguish, because there are some consistencies between those two programs. There are ways that even we have difficulty sort of keeping the two of them separate. This transition here is designed to help you look at some of those differences as we move into the RISE program. Um, uh, the RISE program is a Saturday morning program for 6 to 10-week sessions. We've done it. We're completing our third session of that here coming up. But it's a Saturday morning. It's a Saturday morning program that doesn't have the regularity of the morning movement program before school every time. The focus here in RISE is going to be on youth leadership, diversity, and anti-racism education. A lot of sort of identity issues, a lot of community identity issues it becomes like a class. And in our conversation with the police department and the law enforcement agents that are with us, it is certainly one of the biggest differences is that the RISE program is a smaller, more intimate setting. In some ways, we have 8 to 10 participants in the program, and they show up. It's still sacrifice. They're showing up on the weekends and giving up their time to come in and share with us. And then it's less of the choice time work here, but we split it into 2 sessions where there are structured lessons and then structured play. So it is like a small class for us, and the RISE program is another large piece of our offerings. We bring you RISE.
So RISE is actually a national nonprofit that uses sports to empower people to improve race relations and advance social justice. Using programs and partners, RISE works to eliminate racial discrimination and build more inclusive and equitable cultures in sports and beyond. So RISE is a national nonprofit. They have a curriculum. We learned about this program through our morning movement and mentoring director, Maria Vega. We went out to Boston where they were running the program and looked at it and really got a sense of we talk a lot about diversity concepts in Amherst, and this is a different approach to really solidifying them. Rise offers its youth programming free to our community. So we're super fortunate for that. So we only have to cover the cost of food and the space utilization. So again, Rise is building leadership and developing trust through sports. That's the pathway they use to teach important life skills. They're free to youth, they're structured, and they're delivered in communities nationwide. They actually have a large presence on college campuses as well. They unite middle school and high school students with local law enforcement, and they use sports as the common ground to start discussions. Their goal is to break barriers, foster mutual trust, and create pathways for positive, open communication while building youth leaders. And again, we rely on multiple partners to support the RISE programming. So we're fortunate that Amherst Police sends officers to the program, the Department of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Philip has been a fantastic support for RISE, sitting in on the trainings and giving feedback, and then participating in the program as well as one of the adults in the room. We're super fortunate to have him. We have Rafael Santos from the Hampshire County Sheriff's Office, and UMass Amherst Police also send a police officer to the program. This program is very dependent on having law enforcement in the room because the goal is to engage in conversations and build relationships, in part between youth and law enforcement, and building those bridges of understanding that come through carefully facilitated, sometimes challenging conversations. That piece of communication is actually the foundation of RISE. And one of the things that it teaches without explicitly being its goals is to teach our children and our adults to have difficult conversations and engage in back and forth and perspective sharing. So some of the topics we cover include understanding our identities, equity versus equality, bias, privilege, and power, building trust, conflict resolution, community building, race, racism, and anti-racism, and microaggressions. It's a interesting thing to have a group of 7th through 10th graders sitting and engaging in dialogue on these topics, because developmentally we're all in different spaces and we're trying to use really unique ways to convey this. One of my favorite activities for the modules is the building trust. And so we use whatever we can find in the gym to build the obstacle courses that participate. So you're partnered up, an adult and a child, and you build an obstacle course that the person will have to go through with their eyes closed, and you guiding them with your voice. And it's a really partly terrifying because you don't want to fall on your face, but a really great way of illustrating how you can build trust with someone. And one of our participants actually had a great comment when we did this a few weeks ago. And he said, well, I could trust him when I could hear his voice. Like, he was partnered with Officer Andrew Coblin, and his whole discussion was like, well, when Andrew was talking to me, I knew I was going to, like, he was watching and I was going to be okay getting through the obstacle course. And I think that's one of the things that really resonates for me. And I think Director Harp with RISE is that it's all about building trust and communication, and that conversation can turn abstract ideals about social justice into tangible skill sets and shared commitments between the adults in the room and the kids in the room to build a better community. And I think that's a really special and amazing part of this program. So this picture is actually from last year. At the end of each session, we have a culminating event where we try to bridge together all the disparate concepts we've talked about and kind of knit it into, well, how does it all play together? How does privilege and trust, exist in the same space? And how do you integrate those ideas into your head? And I think that's I love the wrap up because I love hearing from the kids what they've thought and what they've learned over the course of the session. And so, again, I don't like to speak for other people. I like to hear from the people themselves about the impact the program has had on them. So I have a couple short videos of the different perspectives from both students and the law enforcement in the room on the program.
My name is Andrew Coblin, born and raised in Amherst, Massachusetts. I went to the middle school here. I went to Wildwood, right up the hill. Graduated from high school in 2011. I've been with the Amherst Police Department for a little over a year or so. So this program, holds a special place in my heart. Being from the community, being able to give back to the community that, gave me so much growing up. So I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Did you enjoy the program?
It was so much fun, man. Like, for me, I'm a new cop, right? So I work overnights. So most of the time, I'm coming off an overnight shift, or like today, and I got to work at 4 p.m. yesterday, worked 16 hours, and then come straight here. But for me, it's like a breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? It's like a boost of energy every time I'm around the kids, and I feel like I get so much from them. I learn so much about their stories, what makes them them. I see a lot of myself in some of those kids, and I see, even things that like I learn from them where it's like, man, you learn somebody's story, you're like, oh man, I can work 18-hour day when I learn about what somebody else is going through, and you might not even know, that they're going through because they have such a positive mindset. So I think it really helps kind of put things in perspective like that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate you coming here,
Yeah.
especially after working 16 hours.
Absolutely.
What sort of impact have you seen amongst the participants of the program over the past 5 or so weeks?
I think it's just like a sneak peek on their potential, right? Like, I think one thing you learn, growing up, it's funny because I just turned 31, but people ask me how old I am, I'm like 18. Oh no, I'm 31, right? And I think like growth is not linear, right? So go a little bit, you might go down a little bit more, you might take a dip a little bit more. So I think it's just a sneak peek as far as like the potential that they have, right? We talk a lot about leadership and not letting your circumstances dictate you, right? But it's like the same water that makes an egg soft makes egg hard makes a potato soft, right? So it's like you dictate your circumstances, right? And I think hopefully it can empower these kids to realize, like, man, like I wake up with a lot of power. I think, I can always have control of my decisions and my attitude.
Andrew, we've been fortunate to have him now twice as the APD representative to the RISE program. And he's just absolutely fantastic. If you haven't met him yet, look for him. He's a phenomenal police officer.
My name is Rafael Santos Jr., and I am an employee at the Hampshire Sheriff's Office here in Hampshire County, and a volunteer for RISE.
Awesome. Thank you, Rafael. Did you enjoy the program?
Absolutely. I think the program is an excellent program. The vision of the program meets the needs of our community, and it's a vital piece of helping these individuals grow in a positive manner and bridging the gap between law enforcement and our.
What was your favorite lesson or activity?
My favorite activity was the privilege activity. I think that gave us a lot of insight as to where other individuals around us come from and what they have access to and don't have access to, and just being able to see things from a different perspective.
Then what sort of impact did you see among the youth or even yourself throughout the past 5 or so weeks of the program?
Just the collaboration, and like for me, it's personal. Because as a youth myself, I was troubled and I had upbringing. upbringing, and this connection with this program has really, light a fire in me, and just seeing the positive outcomes with the individuals, engaging with them, and even building a personal relationship with an individual who I didn't know before, and now I'm helping them through some issues that he's working through in a positive mentoring way.
Awesome. And what would you say to other officers or youth who are interested in joining the next cohort of the program? Should they join it, and why?
I think it's an opportunity to explore something different, give yourself an opportunity to grow. And I think the importance about having other youth involved is just to see law enforcement from a different light and have that positive connection. I don't think we have enough of that in our communities. And, the volunteers are there. And it's a perfect time to give back to the community. For me personally, I just feel like that's something I'm obligated to do, because it's what was instilled in me as a young man. So now giving back feels great, and I think it would serve anybody well if they put in their time.
So that's the law enforcement perspective. We're super fortunate. Raphael not only supports us at Morning Movement, he's also participated in every session of RISE. This is one of the rides to the RISE program, and just her perspective on what she saw within her time with us.
I'm also jealous. I wasn't able to participate in the program, but I came and hung out for a half hour, and it looked like a fabulous program. I left because my nephew, it was their program. So, but it looks fabulous, and I heard really good things when Aiden got in the car.
What type of impact have you seen on Aiden throughout the program?
What I have seen is maturity has happened over the last 5 weeks. When he came, I think he wasn't sure about the program. He sure didn't know it was about bridging the gap between the community police and the sheriff's department. I feel like he became more secure, more empowered, more, he was very articulate at our panel, and I watched him pair up with the policemen and really do these worksheets very in depth. So I watched maturity happen.
Can you just tell us more about the town of Amherst and their relationship with law enforcement?
I think in our community, and I don't know a lot, I believe that relationships can always be built. And to watch a community base where the kids and the police are playing, that is a lot of healing. We've seen the history over the last couple of years, and it's gotten a lot of negative press with police officers and negativity. And I think this just brought out a really positive connection for at least these 10 kids, for sure.
What would you?
So I'm recognizing that the time is getting late, so I might scooch to the next slide in the interest of wanting to make sure we have ample time for questions. But I'll end with these two really quick videos on
And
kids.
what grade are you in?
I'm in 7th grade.
And where do you go to school?
Where do I go? I go to Amherst Middle School.
Awesome. So before the program, how did you feel about law enforcement?
I thought they were, a little bit more different from us. I thought they were like more powerful, and then they could control, like they could send someone to jail if they wanted to or something.
So if at all, in what way have your feelings changed?
I think now I see them more like human, and now I can relate to them more, and then I can trust them more now.
Why do you feel like you can trust them more?
Because I realize that they're just the same as us. They just have different jobs than us.
For the program, so you did this program last year. So can you think about what you thought before the program last year to what you think now?
I felt like the program last year was a bit
I don't know, but I feel like this year it's kind of like impacting me a bit more, and I feel like it's just great.
Excellent. What was your favorite activity that we did?
The trust one, where we had to close our eyes and we had to trust one another. Why did I say the exact same thing? I feel like that one was great.
Yeah, what did you like about it?
I liked how I was able to trust people, and that it was like something that we don't really do at school. So I was just like kind of happy that we were able to do it here.
Excellent. What key lessons did you learn from the program?
I learned that like not everybody has the same thing, which is fair, and that everybody has different needs. And I also learned that like how we identify ourselves is something that we do, not something that we have a name tag, and it's not something that related.
All right. So what would you say to youth that are interested in doing a program like this or thinking about it?
For the youth who want to do this program, I feel like you guys should do like a program like this and help me a lot understand. Like we work with like the police department, so just getting to know like what's around us and like getting to know the rec department is pretty good. So yeah, I feel like you should do this. But that's
Excellent. So that's the RISE program. I don't know, Martha, if you'd like us to stop and take questions. Oh, Martha, you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, I would say, why don't you just very briefly talk about the Biz Camp for, just a few minutes, and then we'll take questions on the whole program, okay?
Okay. So this past summer, Amherst Rec, using the ARPA funds, offered a Biz Camp through the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship, or NIFTY. They teach middle school and high school students how the basics of starting a business, the fundamentals around understanding finance, understanding having a plan and how to market it, and working through the logistics of becoming your own boss. So the core learning objectives or areas that NIFTY really works to promote is that entrepreneurial mindset, cultivating innovative thinking and problem solving, essential for future success. Learning about businesses, learning market research, identifying different segments, defining a unique value proposition, which I couldn't explain to you, but I'm sure the kids that did the program could, and mastering costs and revenue. And it all ends in a pitch. It's called the Fast Pitch Contest. Over the course of the program, they work on a comprehensive business plan and build a professional pitch deck. And then they competed, presenting their ideas to a panel of judges. I will say we were super fortunate to have high school principal Talib Sadiq as one of our judges. And then the Rob Allington from the bid marketing and John Page from the bid or Amherst Downtown were super helpful serving as judges. They reviewed all the pitches from the stellar group of students and selected the winner for the program. I will give a shout out to Dr. Irv Rhodes, who was our adult he was our backbone for the entrepreneurial portion of the program. We had a facilitator for the program, but I think Director Harp and I can be pretty honest that we are not entrepreneurs ourselves, and therefore don't really know all the ins and outs of that. So we were very fortunate to have Dr. Rhodes supporting us during the initiative. And then this is from the award ceremony during the fast pitch. And with that, I think I will stop sharing and we can start taking questions.
Okay, well, thank you. This is fascinating. So Andrea, do you want to take over then and lead the discussion? You're still muted, Andrea.
I was busy. Does anybody have a question or something they would like, a comment or something? This is a lot to take in. Good stuff, but a lot. So, does anybody want to ask anything? Okay. My question is, as a former teacher, um, um, obviously there's motivation with the kids, because like I said, my grandson really is always happy to get a ride down, because we live in South Hadley, so it's really a trek. Um, and he likes it. He doesn't talk about it a lot. He just wants to go. And so I know that, and I've talked to some of his friends, and they also like it. Um, Obviously, it's working, and hopefully it will continue. Um, how many of you that are on now knew about this program at all, besides a few of us? Okay, one or two. Please let people know, because we need to like promote it. Um, there aren't that many programs for children, young people, and that are free to them. Yeah, they pay a price, they have to get up a little earlier, but it seems to be something that they do. It's beyond me, I'm like struggling because I go to the pool early, and my grandson said, if you go in the pool today, can you take me by I said, okay. So I have to leave now another 20 minutes earlier, but it's worth it because the kids really seem to really get into it, and I'm very, very, very happy to see this happening. I had heard about it, but I got more involved this year, and it's really, really a good program. Do you have any questions about some of the things that the kids
Yeah,
do?
so
You
we've
know?
got 3 people with hands up, Andrea.
Oh, okay, I don't see any of them. Okay.
Can you see them or?
That Erica was one.
Yeah.
Take off your,
Thank you. I have a lot of questions, but I'm going to start with one, let other people ask other questions, and then you can come back to me. So the title of this is Youth Driven Community Program. Can you talk to me a little bit about how the youth actually drive the program? I know there have been some surveys, and I know it's very much of an empowerment program, but how do the youth drive either the topics, or how do you get feedback? Where's the feedback loop? If you can talk a little bit about that, that'd be great. Thank you. And thank you for what you're doing. It's amazing.
Ray, do you want me to answer that, or do you want to?
I can say that to start off, the curriculum for Rise is uh, it's responsive to the previous session. There's what the students, you just saw the video where students were talking about what their favorite units were, about how they were, what really was working for them. Maria is the facilitator who takes a lot of that and builds some of the curriculum around their interests. So Rise from season to season does respond directly to what student interests are. Morning Movement has a variety of choice activities. Uh, I think the draw for kids is to come in there and be a part of the choose your own adventure piece of that, the morning activities. Kids who are still very active in the program do it because of that. People who sort of have aged out or haven't done it in a couple of years reflect back on how that daily choice about how getting out and being able to work on their basketball game, or to be able to build crafts for the morning, or just getting up and getting themselves active and going in the morning. I think the way they describe it is there is guided freedom inside the programming.
Thank you. I also think that it's youth driven because like Morning Movement is especially youth driven because it started with, a dozen or so youth that wanted to play basketball before school. And then that grew into a formal program, and we've added, and as kids have like, over the summer, I bought a pickleball net for the kids who said, yeah, I want to learn how to play pickleball. So when they get to morning movement, even though there's the structure of the warm up and cool down, what they do within that choice time is literally their choice. We have kids who like choose to go to the weight room or choose to play volleyball or badminton or football or basketball or make crafts, or they'll ask and they'll say like, hey, can you get out this? Like soccer's become really big this year. So we hear what the kids would like to do in the morning and we do our best to acquire the materials to make it happen. So
May I,
it's youth driven in that way that they have so much choice in what they do in the morning.
may I really quickly go after that again? And as an illustration, we had one student in particular who last spring, just playing around outside, they were doing, it wasn't built in. They didn't know before the day they were going to be doing it, but they brought some golf clubs out and he started swinging a little bit out in the back over at the middle school and realized he was pretty decent. It's the first time really swinging a golf club. He was pretty decent at it. He went out with Rafael Santos and he just like a bunch of kids were hacking away at the ball and they felt pretty cool doing the golf thing. But he felt so good about how he was controlling the ball for his first swings that he really just kept on asking questions. Rafael golfs, we were able to not only turn that into a part of the program moving forward, but we also authorized him to have a free student pass at Cherry Hill, where the two of them have then followed up to go over and play there. I believe they're still playing. Not now, we're closed, but I believe that they still make use on sort of uh, mentor and student development time out there where a kid fell in love with golf. Maybe he's good, maybe he's not, but he looked good when I saw him swinging.
Adrian?
Hi, thanks, Andrea, and I want to thank Becky and Ray and all of the people. This is probably the best kept secret in Amherst. This program, I don't live under a rock. I've been following it, but the excitement of hearing the details tonight has really been quite moving. This is a dog and pony show that every resident in this town should know about. Those are my comments, and I want to thank you so much. You've done wonderful things. You continue to do wonderful things. Our youth are our heart and soul, and everything that takes place isn't necessarily inside the classroom as you've demonstrated tonight. So here's my question. Given budgetary constraints, how many children can this program grow to accommodate? And then what would you like to see it grow to? What number would you like to see it grow to in future years? Thanks so much. Look forward to your answers.
So right now we have 89 students registered in the program with an average anywhere from 45 to 65 students attending a day. And that, I'll be honest, has been a larger program than we were accustomed to. So we've done things like we've made sure APD is sending us multiple officers a day to be adults in the room with us. We've really worked to foster connections and expand training to our Amherst College and UMass student mentors who support that program. One thing we really focused on, and I did touch on this earlier, but I can't say it enough. We've been so fortunate that we've had so many partners see the value in this program that we are able to, with the money allocated by the town, support the students we have now. The biggest obstacles are additional transportation to the program, which is something we're still working out how to get more access to transportation. Right now we're paying for through school vans to pick up students every day. But we can grow, but we have to, I think if we're honest, we have to more formalize how we work with students in order to accommodate them and meet their needs. Like some kids want to come and they're just there for the socialization with their friends. Some kids come because they're struggling at school with how much energy they have and they need to get it out before they get to school. Some kids are really struggling at home and in school for a variety of different reasons, and we're there for them as well. So we're really trying this year to build up the base to the new level of need that we have and attention that students deserve in the program. So we're trying to build our capacity while we're still running the program. Ideally, we can maintain the 60 something students a day this year and then figure out ways, especially with sixth graders moving to the middle school next year, find a way to accommodate more. And that puts on us the work right now to improve our systems and our partnerships to build the capacity internally. We only have very few paid staff for this program. We have two staff members, our director, Maria Grove, and our assistant director, Anthony Pisano, that we pay for. APD covers the cost of their officers coming to the program. And then our UMass and Amherst College students are volunteers. And that is a lot to ask of volunteers. And we're working on how to do it better. But ideally, we'll be able to grow again next year if we do the work now to make sure that we have the supports in place.
Okay.
Thank you.
What about Rise? Can that grow?
That can grow, yes. I think Rise has different challenges in that it's not the fun structured time. Like it's an hour of curriculum and then an hour of playing. And I think that's a harder thing to grow. It can definitely grow, but it's not designed to be more than 15 students at a time because the program benefits from a high adult to child ratio, like to student ratio, so that you can have really meaningful conversations and really start to build trust with the adults in the room. So that would never, while it could accommodate more students, it can't accommodate more than 15 at a time.
The value in Rise lies in the intimacy of those conversations, of the challenge of those conversations, which it's really, really easy for kids to hide when you start playing with the ratio and giving them more when there's more kids than the ratio upholds.
If only you were in my high school for the numbers. Maida, am I saying your name wrong? Is it Maida?
Maida. Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to just chime in. I get the privilege of getting to go to morning movement sometimes in my role in the Center for Community Engagement, and it is so fun and such a wonderful environment. And it's a nice way for me to start my day. And I, at Amherst College, we want to connect with partners to help kind of strengthen the fact that Amherst is a wonderful place to live and work and study for everyone in the campus community. And this is definitely part of that for the families involved, but also for the volunteers. The college students I talk to get so much out of the experience. I think some of them are interested in education. Some of them also benefit from moving and connecting in the morning. And I think some of them also really see themselves reflected in the students they're working with. And it feels really meaningful to be someone in college and be in relationship with the students so that they too can imagine themselves at Amherst or at UMass. And so it just really is a lovely structure at Morning Movement. And we're really grateful that, Becky and Ray and Maria and Anthony kind of help usher the volunteers into the program as well. So I just wanted to add that. And it's really great for me to hear more about the other programs that we're not as closely involved with.
Erica,
Thanks.
Yeah.
So I have another question, which is, you mentioned that ARPA pretty much funded, you had 7 different activities. ARPA is going to end in 2026. You mentioned that I think that the morning movement program is now being taken on by the town, that they're committing to making sure that that continues and it's paid for. But how about the other programs? I think, it's very important to have these youth activities, and I think you've done a phenomenal job. What is it looking like in terms of, well, first of all, let me ask you, what is your budget for these youth programs, and which ones are possibly going to disappear because ARPA's finished in 2026?
So I'll start by saying that we were intentional about trying to invest in things that we could carry forward. So our adaptive swim lessons, we have the equipment, we've developed the curriculum in collaboration with Special Olympics. We've done the stuff, like we have those pieces done. So when we hire new staff for it, they go through the training, and then we're consistently running adaptive swim lessons throughout the program. That was very equipment heavy, that line item. And those will be with us for long term. Our free summer swim lessons did end, but our Culture City sensory inclusion training, we still utilize that in our after school and our camp programs, and our Amherst United swim team is an inclusive swim team. So we have that knowledge, and we have headphones and fidget toys and specialized seating. Like, we have all those pieces, and that program will always live on because now they're incorporated into camp. Like, our summer camp and after school programs now can accommodate students that are neurodiverse in a way that we were challenged to before. So that will live on because now they've become part of the fabric of how we run those childcare programs. And that, to me, is the greater purchase of the training, is that we've invested in supporting neurodiverse students and being active in the community. Our equipment lending library, we bought a lot of equipment, and we store it off season, and it's accessible, and it will last as long as the equipment lasts. So that's longstanding. The games and activities we bought for community events, if you've been to the 4th of July or even the block party, things like that, like all that equipment is in use pretty much on a regular basis. And that was purchased really to do outreach events with the community, to have fun with the community. Morning movement and mentoring has completely moved into the town's operating budget. I think we have $45,000 allocated for this program. So we're extremely fortunate that even in lean budget times, the town council and town manager has prioritized funding for this program. RISE offers the curriculum to the town free of charge. We are using the ARPA funding to pay for the school charges us a rental fee to use the space. So that program does not have defined funding going forward, but there is a way to, we will have access to the curriculum. We will just need to work out the space issues, but we're hoping that we are able to do that through our partners. And then BizCamp Youth Entrepreneurship Program, that one actually does not have an identified funding source, but we're really fortunate that the DEI department has invested in youth entrepreneurship programs and will likely continue taking on those types of programs.
Yeah. In fact, Philip, who is the assistant DEI director and has been very involved in youth entrepreneurship, is is here.
Oh,
Philip, I was going to say, Becky, you know, Philip is here.
oh, no, I don't. He's not on my screen at the top.
He's
So-
just a little
I
pink.
was wondering if you said such nice things because
No,
you
I
did a curry favor.
So Philip, if you want to say anything about,
I'm off screen right now, so I am just a pink blurb. So nice to know that Becky talks good about me when I'm not paying attention, when she doesn't know I'm in the room. But I just like to say, that the rec department, as with other town departments, we all work well together, and just wonderful communication, wonderful support on everyone's end. My participation in Rise, it's really great to see the kids kind of have those tough conversations that I know I didn't have until later on in life, and just having the nuance and just the gravity to explain how they feel and what they're seeing, and just everything like that, and in an environment that they know that they can open up about and be safe to have those conversations. And I just want to echo morning movement. I've gone a few times. I haven't been able to convince my kid to go, but I know that his friends go, so that might be happening pretty soon on his end. But yeah, to wake up at 6 o'clock to catch a bus, I'd have to say that that's a pretty successful program to get kids to get there. And with Biz Camp, we are going to be having the Amherst Global Village Festival and the entrepreneurship aspect of that festival happening, where kids can make their materials and then sell them materials and learn kind of the entrepreneurship through that end. But just want to echo and not take up too much time that the rec department is amazing and love working with y'all.
Thanks, Philip.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Philip and I talked about the entrepreneurship piece early on, and I can say that both departments are responding to a lot of interest. The entrepreneurship component was one of the main things that we heard from the community when we took over here. We were responding to with Biz Camp. DEI has responded in its own way, and we will be supporting each other in our ventures going forward.
Well, I have to say, I'm so glad you guys came. Just encourage your friends to listen in about another, let's say what did we say, Martha, about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it'll be up on
It'll be up on YouTube, and it'll be under League of Women Voters of Amherst, and you can actually hear the program, or they can hear the program also. So did you want to say something else, Erica, before we close down?
Sure. I just have one last question, one last comment. My question is, it is amazing how you are involving law enforcement and having very, very critical and challenging conversations with the law enforcement and the students. And my question was, as the students sometimes change from year to year, do the law enforcement participants also change? And how do they, have you asked them how they carried over into their colleagues and working with their colleagues? And my comment is, I'm part of the Community Safety and Social Justice Committee, and we are trying to promote the Youth Empowerment Center, which would seem that would have a central place for all of you to actually have a sustainable place to have students come to. But I really want to appreciate how you use all the resources that you have to make this happen. It's pretty amazing from the little amount of resources you have that you're doing such a great job. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. So I believe that both the officers and the youth benefit from the engagement in the programs. We've been fortunate that Chief Ting has been willing. We now have 8 officers that come through our program on a regular basis. We've also new recruits come in when they're due in their training period, they come into the program. And I think like none of us are at our best selves at 7:30 in the morning on a good day, nor are we our best self always in middle school and high school. And I think having officers engage and form relationships with youth not only helps them become better officers by developing a skill set with an age group that they might not otherwise have positive engagement with, And I think for the youth, like it's really building, it's building that connection, and that we know what we can see on Instagram or Facebook around police engagement with youth. And when we form relationships and build connections, we prevent those types of situations from happening in our community by building understanding and connection. And I think we're really fortunate that we're able to bring in so many different police officers, forming that relationship and building that capacity within law enforcement to be more responsive to the needs of the youth in our community.
As well.
Well, that's
Congratulations, and
a good note to end on, I think.
absolutely, absolutely. I'm so glad that you guys come on, but your thing is going on, because people will be able to, and often people do. We get quite a few people that listen afterwards. So I'm going to try to encourage people, and you please, the rest of you, encourage your friends to look at it. And it'll be about a week and a half or so, almost 2 weeks, but it should be up. Where you could actually hear the whole thing, see it and hear it on YouTube under League of Women Voters of Amherst, So anyway, thank you so much. And I wish you the best. And I'm glad to hear that you are going to have sponsorship continued. And again, especially because, like I said, I have a kid who loves it. And, and I know there are a lot of them that do, and they're getting so much really positive. They don't even know they're getting stuff. It's so much fun for them. And that's a good way to get those kind of relationships. So thank you for the programs and for the enthusiasm and the, associations with different parts of our community, because this is a definite blessing. And thank you. So.